Tawanda, Robbins, and who's doing that introduction?
I am doing it, yes, because I gotta share with you, this is in her bio. I am really honored to have Tawanda here today. She is a wife, a mother, songwriter, businesswoman, philanthropist, and community activist based in Charlotte, North Carolina. Her organization, the Love in Action Project, was started in 2010 and has since become a major source of neighborly love, compassion, and support in the Carolinas and beyond. Starting from inspiration on a mission trip to Trinidad and Tobago, or is it Tobago? It's Tobago, is it?
However you want to say
I always mispronounce it, always. But I got corrected by someone who lives there. Tawanda and her Love in Action Project partners have been able to serve thousands of elderly adults, homeless individuals, and hospital-bound children with more heartfelt campaigns on the way. I saw something also that you had actually even started a letter writing campaign or a card writing campaign for Ukrainians, which I thought was absolutely amazing. But as we've already heard Daryl say, mental health awareness is huge for President Gordon this year. It's something that we can focus on, but what Tawanda's organization is doing, Love in Action Project, is actually combating loneliness. We all know that loneliness can have a material impact on mental health and even our physical health. And so combined with President Gordon's emphasis on mental health awareness, we've had our own DG talk about the importance of mental health awareness here in the district and what we can do. I think we're going to hear about a wonderful opportunity to partner with this incredible organization that's helping to combat loneliness and also helping to combat mental health issues. I got to tell Tawanda though, when I was actually up at about 3:30, I was so tempted to send you that email at about 3:30, and then I said, if I do that, she's gonna think I'm crazy. I waited until 8:30 before I sent that email to you. And I just wanted to conclude my remarks by saying, this is a quote from Tawanda: "Love is power. The feeling of genuine connection is life-changing." So without any further ado, this is Tawanda.
I'm actually going to sit as I present, so that since the president did.
Yes.
Very informal here, right here. So I honestly feel that the president, when he gave his opening remarks, that he just described who Love in Action Project is. And so I felt I can sit down. There's no need for me to speak because Love in Action actually, it is a call. It is a call to make a difference. And before I get into the presentation, really brief, the call to make a difference was loudly heard to me when I was on that mission trip in Trinidad, Tobago, Tobago, right? What I noticed is that we are very powerful. In the daytime, I would spend time doing work with the children and, with parachutes and talking to them and giving them love. And one thing that I noticed is that each time that we would do the parachute and lay down on the ground and look up, the children would actually visually see whatever I was asking them to see. If I would say, look up, do you see an elephant? They could envision an elephant. If I would say, oh my God, look at the king, look at the prince, look at the queen. Whatever I would say, they would say, I see it, miss, I see it, miss. And then at night, after I would do a concert, the next morning we would wake up and we would go to, they are not considered US nursing homes, but basically they are forgotten. They've been in car accidents, they don't have relatives to care for them any longer. And we would go and visit. One thing that I noticed is that when I walked through the door, they were wanting what I had. The children wanted what I had, was the imagination, the time that I was spending with them to envision this beautiful life that we were creating. And the adults that were in these homes wanted what I had as well, which was the attention, the love, even the imagination, and how are you? exchanging like a human connection, okay? So, it was a very eye-opening moment when I was there, because I know that love is powerful, but I don't believe that we have been taught how to use our power in a way that will impact everyone that we come in contact with, because that's our purpose. It is honestly to make a difference. It is honestly to expose this great being that I believe is God, to be seen, heard, and felt in tangible ways. So when I came back to the States, dropping my kids off, I rode past this daycare and I honestly heard pull in. I pulled into the daycare, I sat there for a minute, and I began to cry. I began to think about that difference that was felt, that I received from the children, that they received from me, the difference that was felt from the adults that were in the homes, what they received from me and what I received from them. And so then I just walked inside of the daycare and I asked for artwork. I explained just out the blue, I don't know where, it just came, and I explained, hi, I am Tawanda, I am collecting artwork. I would like to take this artwork to nursing homes that's locally close around. And the director said, we would love to give you our artwork. How much do we have to pay you to be a part of this organization? I thought, it's not an organization, and no money, I just want your artwork. Because I remember as a mom and having the opportunity to stay at home with my kids, when they walked in the door to bring artwork, it was an exchange. I was exchanging to them the power that they made mommy so happy, that this was the best thing that even if it was a squiggly line, oh my goodness, and I changed their disposition, their world, their view of that I am really making a difference. And not only that, they took the time to give it to me. So I collected the artwork, called my friends, and all my friends, my stay-at-home mom friends, and my friends that were working. I said, hi guys, I'm collecting artwork, this is the reason why. And then they were like, okay, we're here. We took the artwork out to Sardis Oaks. But by the time I got to Sardis Oaks, there was WBTV there. And I'm like, who in the world told WBTV? Wait a minute. I told my husband, I was like, oh, this is a little bit too much. I just wanted to take cards. But then pulling up, because I had shared friends, they shared, and I put it on my social media, what I had felt led to do. There were cards and carloads of people coming to pass these cards out with us. I had no idea the devastating impact of social isolation and loneliness in the United States. I had no idea that that is even what I was experiencing in Trinidad and Tobago. I had no idea. So then I started researching, and I started researching this impact. And so when I walk up to Michael's and Michael's Arts and Crafts are like, yes, you can have this here. I had no idea that we were actually setting up a way to impact the world in a way that some people, if they're not conscious, they will say, oh, it's just art. These are just cards. But the conscious will know that we are making an impact. We are healing, right? It's so amazing. Carolina Medical Center nurses, we would send it to the Carolina Rehabilitation Center, and their doctors would write us letters and thank us for a holistic approach to healing. But some people will say, oh, it's just art, you're just sitting down. But then what happens is when we join together, like you guys are joining here, and then if we include art in it, when you do coloring, when you are writing, you are impacting your brain in a positive way. You are releasing chromosomes in your body that release healing components. Yeah? So today, I just want to share with you Love in Action Project. I'm going to share with you what we do, and I'm also going to share with you the importance of our mental health, right? How we can use Love in Action Project to impact our mental health, and what social isolation and loneliness does to our mental well-being, okay? So I'm gonna sit down, because the president did.
I need to get this out of your way.
Okay, well, yeah, oh, I forgot, am I gonna be okay here?
Yeah.
You want me to be loud?
On the sheriff's-
I'm okay,
on the
okay,
sheriff's-
yeah, okay, what do I do? Because you know, you're not here. Okay, and then we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna share.
And he's gonna do something up here.
Rebecca and I found out that we are Dale twins, but we both have an apple and it causes us challenges. This is, we're ready?
Yes.
Let's get with it. Now, basically, this is just gonna be information. It may be information that you know, it may be information that you don't know. However, we're gonna do a knowledge transfer today. I'm gonna learn from you and you're gonna learn from me, okay? So, Love in Action Project. So, Love in Action Project was founded in 2010. We're a grassroots organization started by a mommy and her 2 kids and a husband who would just, okay, dear, okay, okay, right?
A typical.
Okay. So Love in Action Project, we create love and hope to combat the effects of social isolation and loneliness. How do we make this? How do we fit the page, Rebecca?
It's actually looking pretty good.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
It's one letter, okay.
Yeah.
We create love and hope to combat the effects of social isolation and loneliness for those most forgotten with art and human connection. The most forgotten that we focus on, the 2 areas are seniors in nursing home residents, and our homeless population. But that's not all, because Love in Action, when you join us, it is also impacting you as well. So I need to get this down. How do we get this down? There you go. All right. Humans are wired for social connection, but we become more isolated over time. And I know that COVID-19, the social distancing, had a real big impact on us all. Some of us were impacted more than others, yeah? But social connection is essential to our long-term survival. It is so very important, like food and water. And we don't think about that. It's very, very important. The lack of social connection poses a significant risk for our health. Social connection significantly improves our health and well-being, and it reduces the risk of premature mortality. So I'm gonna go into what is gonna happen, what happens when we are not socially connected. What happens when we are chronic loneliness? And this is why we focus a lot on our nursing home residents and our senior community. We partner with Meals on Wheels. We partner with anyone that may need a visit and need connection. Oh, okay. Loneliness is a global health crisis, of course, that affects us all. And I'm going to share with you 4 studies that we really focus on in Love in Action. So since 1985, the number of Americans with no close friends have tripled. And people can say that that is because of social media, but it has tripled. There are people walking around with no close friends. No close friends. Social isolation among older adults is a significant issue posing severe health risks. According to the National Council of Aging, nearly 1 in 3 socially isolated adults expect their quality of life to get worse in the next decade. Socially isolated seniors have a 59% higher risk of physical and mental health decline, heart disease, high blood pressure, and dementia than those who do not experience social isolation. 60% of nursing home residents do not receive regular visitors, putting them at greater risk for abuse, neglect, and depression. Social isolation and loneliness impact our mental health in this way. When you're socially isolated, those that experience social isolation, they have more suicide thoughts and they possibly can move into suicidal attempts. They're less restful, they get less sleep, decreased ability to regulate eating. A lot of them stop eating. We see this in nursing homes often, yeah. More stress. When you're stressed, your body goes into an inflammation state. And we'll get into that more. But when your body is inflamed, it's all types of chronic illness. Greater difficulty paying attention and doing complex tasks, and even a cognitive decline. Now let's talk about the cognitive function. Chronic loneliness and social isolation can increase the risk of developing dementia by approximately 50% in older adults. These statistics that I am pulling and that I'm sharing with you today, the Surgeon General released an 82-page warning to the United States of America, asking the United States of America to get back together, that there was a huge epidemic of isolation and loneliness. And he gave us information on what we needed to do as a society, as a community to combat this. I thought it was interesting because when I was contacted by the local news and they wanted to get my opinion on what I thought the doctor of the US had to say, I was like, okay. So then I went to his 82-page report. And first I was like, I think he plagiarized, because this is all the information that I'm sharing, right? I've been doing this for 13 years. But it also gave me even more confidence, right? That what I researched and what I actually was seeing and doing was backed by so many doctors and so many researchers, yeah? So this also shows that there was a study that followed older adults for 12 years and found cognitive ability declined 20% faster among those that reported loneliness. This is something, as the president stated, that we all can make a difference in. Yeah, we all can make an impact to those that are affected. And then when we make that impact, it is really helping us, because it's an exchange, just like I did in Trinidad and Tobago. Exchange with the children, they exchange with me. You know, it's an exchange. So then let's talk about depression and anxiety. Those that experience social isolation and loneliness, they go into a state of depression and anxiety. And what happens when you're depressed and you have anxiety? Your body goes into an inflammation state, because we actually were created to be connected. We were not created to be isolated. So depression and anxiety are often categorized by social withdrawal, which increases the risk for both social isolation and loneliness. However, social isolation and loneliness also predict an increase developing depression and anxiety. Furthermore, in older adults, both social isolation and loneliness have been shown to increase the likelihood of depression and anxiety independently. So I just want to share with you now a video from the Surgeon General. He didn't plagiarize, but I promise you, everything that I said and everything that we have been doing for 13 years on the ground, he's going to say. So I'm going to click this, and hopefully we're going to get some sound. Rebecca, you got me? Let's see.
Loneliness is far more than just about being socially disconnected and drained from the other others.
Am I sharing it?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I go.
That share, different share.
Yeah. Stop share here.
Plus John.
And then share that.
Yep.
And then share that. And then share. Look. Okay, let's see, I know how to do that. Let's see. Look at that. Oh, okay, what happened? Do I?
Right.
don't know why that happened.
Why that happened? Okay, stop sharing again?
No.
No? Okay, wait a minute. Share, then go here, and then share.
There it comes.
Click the school.
Don't do
Who's the membership chair?
Sounds like you understand the assignment, right?
There we go.
So we won't do it on the floor, okay, what's happening there?
Screen sharing.
Okay, how do we unpause it? Resume.
Share.
We having a group lesson. We're better community. Okay, so stop.
Nobody's asking us. Yeah, so it's waiting to come Karina sent the flyer, but or just write the name of it, I did. Your therapy and if it wants to set a street there, but also talk about like that organization.
Yeah.
Or if you have any other contacts, find different military-based charities to do service projects with.
Yeah.
We've had trouble finding.
5522.
With stuff like any really that are within kind of the metro area. Dawn found a couple that were like.
Is that actually
They were like an hour and a half away.
Perfect. Okay, we're back in business now. Let's speak too soon. Don't speak too soon. Okay, Rebecca is gonna share, because we're gonna say that, right?
Do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
No pressure, no pressure.
Yeah. Oh, the internet?
Yeah, because it's saying I can't share.
Oh, no.
So maybe just turn your screen around and we can try.
Okay, so let's do that.
That came back.
Yeah, I stopped sharing.
Okay.
We lost John too.
Oh no.
So let's just.
No, it's not on them.
Okay.
There it is. Play from right there.
Oh, that's me.
Yeah, just play
Okay,
from right
just
there.
play it from here.
Right.
Loneliness is far more than just a bad feeling.
But it had to be quiet.
Which can range from physical health to being isolated. It's bad both for individual and societal health. Isolation are associated with greater risk of heart disease, dementia, stroke, depression, anxiety, and premature death. In fact, lacking connection can increase the risk of premature death to levels comparable to smoking daily. Loneliness and social isolation are also far more common than you might realize. About 1 in 2 American adults report experiencing loneliness. Everyone can be impacted across all ages, socioeconomic conditions, and geographies. This widespread disconnection presents profound threats to our health and well-being. Social connection is as fundamental to our mental and physical health as food, water, and sleep. And it affects our performance and productivity at work, school, and in our communities. Now is the time to invest in building social connection. This first ever Surgeon General's advisory on our epidemic of loneliness and isolation shows us how. The keys to connection are simple. Answer a phone call from a friend. Invite someone over to share a meal. Listen and be present during conversation. Seek out opportunities to serve others. These steps may seem small, but they're extraordinarily powerful. By strengthening our relationships, we can improve our heart and brain health, reduce our risk of diabetes and high blood pressure, boost our immune systems, and lower our risk of depression. We can build lives and communities that are healthier and happier. And we can ensure our country and the world are better poised than ever to take on the challenges that lie ahead. Visit surgeongeneral.gov/connection to learn more.
Okay, were we all able to hear?
Yes.
Yes, it's basically pretty much repeating what I was saying, yeah, but he had that, it's okay. Okay, let me get out of this,
You should be his advisor.
and then, right. And then here.
Now you can't get
Oh, now it's into.
Loneliness is far.
Really?
Okay, so, the Surgeon General provided us ways that we could, take care of our mental well-being and how we could also, impact others that we come in contact with, right, that possibly may be experiencing social isolation and loneliness. But I like these 8 that he pointed out, what I can do to increase my level of social connection and improve my well-being. Invest time in nurturing your relationships. Relationships are very important. They are very important. And my grandmother said that the older you get, the more you realize how important they are, because your friends, they start to leave and your bodies change in ways. Yeah. So at Love in Action Project, what we do is we create artwork, and we take that artwork where isolation and loneliness is prevalent, and we connect. We have someone with the artwork, and they get down and they do what? They exchange. Yes? Participate in social and community groups like this. Yes, it's very important to get together and participate in groups where you are feeling that you are actually making a difference, that you're actually being seen. Yeah, like the kids saw me in Trinidad, I saw them, and so forth. Seek out opportunities to serve and support others. So just recently, 2 weeks ago, the Alzheimer's Association just released a report that showed the older adults, if they volunteered, the more they volunteered, studies showed that they had a better chance of not developing dementia. That what happens to your brain when you are engaged in volunteerism is very, very important. Yes. Actively engage with people of different background and experiences. What does that do? Take you out your comfort zone, gets that brain moving, you know, like, oh my goodness, you like that? Oh, I couldn't think of that, I couldn't fathom, oh my goodness, you know, but it's an exchange. You're telling them about you, they're telling you about them, and so forth, right? Be responsive, supportive, and practice gratitude. Oh, so very important. 2010, I started mindful meditation at Mercy Hospital, and my purpose for that was so that I could go inward, rest. Actually, my kids, I just wanted some peace when they were just running around, peace from competition chair, peace, you know? But what I found is that gratitude, my gosh, if you spend time there, it really changes. It changes our outlook. And actually, it puts us back in a position to create that life that we desire here on earth. Reduce practices that lead to feeling of disconnection from others, such as harmful, excessive use of social media and spending time in unhealthy relationships. So what I say for my older adults that are not in nursing homes, but they may be in the senior community, that the senior community have a lot of activities going on, and if I'm there and I'm like, well, why are you not going dancing? I don't want to dance, you know, so let's walk over there and see, you don't have to, right? But do what we can to get out and connect, because again, there is an exchange. And then be open with your healthcare provider, and then seek help during time of struggle. If you're feeling isolated and lonely, let people know. Let people know. Just let people know. A lot of times in the nursing home, they do let people know, but sometimes it's just not heard. Because those that are there to care for them, they have a lot going on, they're just there to do what they're gonna do or whatever, right? But that's why we're here and we go in. And that's why we get our volunteers to go in, and our community is a community effort, yes? So, I found these to be very interesting. So the Surgeon General talked, so did I, but on the Surgeon General website, there are fact cards, and these fact cards are really, really cool. So I just wanted to use these fact cards just to go over what you heard him say, that I said, but no. And here we go. Living in isolation reduces our chances of survival, and social isolation increases the risk of premature mortality by 29%. Poor social relationships, social isolation, and loneliness can increase your risk of heart disease by 29% and risk of stroke by 32%. Now, these are facts that were from medical doctors, from psychiatrists, much more facts than me sitting doing research, right? They have studied. So these are to be true. Among older adults, chronic loneliness and social isolation can increase the risk of developing dementia approximately 50%. Being more socially connected can improve stress responses and minimize the negative health effects of stress. People with strong perceptions of community belongingness are 2.6 times more likely to report good and excellent health than those people with low sense of belonging. Social isolation, or even the perception. Now, listen guys, even the perception of isolation can increase inflammation in the body to the same degree as physical inactivity. Adults who report feeling lonely often are more likely than twice as likely to develop depression as adults who report rarely or never feeling lonely. Social support from friends and family is associated with improved hypertension and diabetes management. And lastly, we believe isolation among adults is an issue that we can address. We believe that Love in Action Project community is essential for human survival, and it creates a sense of well-being and belonging for us all. A world without compassion is doomed. We are so very excited that since 2010, our mission expanded to 29 cities in 15 states and 68 senior living facilities outside of the city of Charlotte. Since 2010, we have distributed more than 80,000 handmade cards, bringing joy, helping ease the feeling of despair, and combating the effects of social isolation and loneliness. Thank you for your time and the opportunity to share Love in Action Project. Thank you so very much. If there are questions, if there are questions, yes.
I'm sure people here could address this too. I would say that loneliness in seniors and isolation can also arise from hearing issues.
Yes.
Definitely.
Definitely.
Second.
How do we go about, if there were some of us here that were interested in partnering with Love in Action, what are the next steps?
So what are the next steps?
I asked first.
We have the next steps, we have card pop-up parties all over the city. If you guys would like to host a card creation party, it will be beneficial for you and your health.
Yes.
Just as well as those who will receive the cards, right? Love and Action Project is very unique than all other nonprofits or community service projects. Our difference is that we focus on the receiver and the volunteer, right? We are communities, we all need to be well, yes? So you guys can host a card creation party if you want to. Also, we have around Thanksgiving is our biggest, if you remember, Thanksgiving, yes, Thanksgiving is our biggest time that we go out in the city. We have volunteers all over the city that's knocking on the doors at nursing home, that's partnering with Meals on Wheels, taking meals in a card. So we collect cards from everyone. This is just not a kid project. Again, there are benefits in doing art, right? It's benefits with getting together with someone, even if you can't draw, it's still benefits. You fold the card, put a sticker on it, right? There's benefits in it, right? So Valentine is what we call Love Occupy. We occupy our city with love. We get out and we cover the entire city with love. Not only that, I just told you guys we are beyond. COVID pushed us national. I was like, oh my goodness, I put out there, if you would like to join us, I will partner you with the nursing home. And then all of a sudden it went, and then I had no idea how Fox News got our information, but they shared it. And they were like, if you're looking for a project to get involved with, consider St. Jude, consider her radio, consider Love and Action Project. I was like, what? How in the world did we get there? Who did that, right? I just kept receiving calls and the volunteers were like, do you see our email? It's like blowing up, like what is happening? I was like, have you